Imagine getting paid just for sharing your thoughts on products and services you use every day. With Survey Junkie, it's that simple. Click on the link in the video description to discover how you can start earning today by taking surveys.
Far-right fossil fuel allies have launched a stunning and unprecedented campaign pressuring the Supreme Court to shield fossil fuel companies from litigation that could cost them billions of dollars. Some of the groups behind the campaign have ties to Leonard Leo, the architect of the right-wing takeover of the Supreme Court who helped select Trump's Supreme Court nominees. Leo also appears to have ties to Chevron, one of the plaintiffs in the lawsuit. "He's really crafted the Supreme Court," said Lisa Graves, executive director of the progressive watchdog group True North Research and an expert on Leonard Leo's network. Honolulu is one of 40 cities and states suing Big Oil for an alleged decades-long effort to sow doubt about the dangers of burning fossils. If successful, the case could force the defendants to pay for climate damages. In October, the Hawaii Supreme Court ruled that the suit can go to trial. But oil companies petitioned the U.S. Supreme Court in February to review the state court's decision. They argued the cases should be thrown out because emissions are a federal issue that shouldn't be tried in state courts. Supreme Court justices met on Thursday to consider whether or not to take up the fossil fuel company's request, and the justices could grant or reject the petition in the coming days. If granted, the request could catalyze the dismissal of the wave of climate accountability lawsuits against Big Oil, a major win for the defendants seeking to limit their liability for the climate crisis. But it's the kind of ask about which the Supreme Court would not normally offer its opinion, advocates and legal experts say. The court would probably not think this request is important, unless someone told them it was very important, said Kurt Davies, a director at the Center for Climate Integrity, which supports the litigation against Big Oil. Some conservatives have been telling them exactly that. "I have never, ever seen this kind of overt political campaign to influence the court like this," said Patrick Parento, professor and senior climate policy fellow at Vermont Law School. In recent weeks, conservatives have published opinion pieces in Bloomberg, The Hill, The Wall Street Journal, and The National Review calling on the court to grant the petition. "Honolulu is attempting to use the law of one state to dominate the others," wrote Carrie Severino, president of the conservative dark money group JCN, formerly known as the Judicial Crisis Network, in the right-wing National Review. JCN is a trade name for the Concord Fund, one of many nonprofits led by Leo, the powerful far-right judicial activist who also co-chairs the right-wing legal advocacy group the Federalist Society. Justice Clarence Thomas once quipped that Leo was the third most powerful person in the world. Asked about the influence campaign, Severino told U.S. News, "Liberal dark money groups are freaking out because the Supreme Court is being asked to step in and correct the damage those dark money groups are doing with their massive campaign to subvert the law and the Constitution with a radical climate agenda." Another Leotide nonprofit, the Alliance for Consumers, has also been running social media ads making similar arguments, Rolling Stone reported this month. Leo has said he will attempt to use the nonprofit to institute a lot of legal and social change. In April, 20 Republican state attorneys general also filed friend of the court briefs asking the Supreme Court to grant the petition. Each of them are members of the Republican Attorneys General Association, to which Leo's Concord Fund is a major contributor. The opinion pieces in The Hill were authored by Donald Cauchin, a professor at George Mason University Law School, which in 2016 received a $30 million donation brokered by Leo, EE News noted. George Mason University has also taken tens of millions of dollars from right-wing organizations cultivated by fossil fuel billionaire Charles Koch. A strategist at One Koch Group said in 2022 that her organization is partnering with organizations that can get the right cases to the Supreme Court, U.S. News and Documented reported. The Koch network is also a longtime major funder to the Federalist Society, which Leo co-chairs. Thousands of petitions are filed with the Supreme Court every year, each with only a small chance of being reviewed, EE News noted. Federal rules also say that Th.